Good morning and welcome to Missoula Real Estate Today. This is Denny Bedard. Missoula Real Estate Today is presented by Diane Beck of Windermere Real Estate. Diane's been working with buyers and sellers in the Missoula market for over 25 years and shares her insights on the local housing market. Along with her trusted partners, Diane provides complete service for your real estate transaction and brings us guests who provide useful information on industry-related topics and trends. And now, Missoula Real Estate Today on News Talk, KGVO. We sure hope you are enjoying your weekend. Thanks for letting Missoula Real Estate Today be a part of it. Y'all got dirty carpets out there. We can see them through the radio speakers, for goodness sakes. So it's a wonderful thing that Tony is here. Tony Severson, owner of Kwik Dry Carpet Cleaning, is our guest this week on Missoula Real Estate Today. Good to have you here. Welcome.
Hey, how you doing, Danny?
I'm doing wonderful. And we always like to start with the get acquainted part, Tony,
Sure.
especially for first-time guests. How you got into the business, how long, and how Kwik Dry Carpet Cleaning came to be.
Okay, well, let's see here. I'm just days away from hitting 23 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you. What was the other questions?
How you got into it.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Things like that.
Right, yeah. So I had a standard regular grocery job in Missoula, Montana, and it was a fantastic job. And I was somewhere in the 11th or 12th year, and because I had done a lot of entrepreneurial things over the years, I was fascinated by it. I always wanted to do something on my own.
Just anything and everything.
Yeah, and everything interests me. And in fact, to just go back a few years, when the carpet cleaning guy would come to my house, I always thought, wow, it's just a nice, neat little package. He comes in, he cleans it up, and my wife gives him quite a bit of money. And it seems like, wow, that's a good thing. I wasn't diving for it, but so as the time progressed, in that particular place I was working for was the greatest for most of those years, but the corporate part of it was starting to change, and I was starting to feel my missing entrepreneurial. It was time to try something again, and so I started looking. Yeah, and actually walked over to the Southgate Mall one day at lunch, and there was a franchise magazine, and I found a little guy in Plainfield, Illinois, and called him, and he sent me a video cassette. Some people know what those are. Sure. And I watched that and talked to him on the phone a gazillion times. Didn't have enough money to do it. Found another Missoula business guy. He let us split the franchise fee, and I was off and running. And
lo and behold, Kwik Dry comes to be in Missoula and the Bitterroot Valley. Now, what all areas do you cover, your territories?
All of Ravalli and Missoula County.
Okay.
I live in Ravalli County, but I schedule Missoula days and Ravalli County days. Yes.
Okay. You take a break. I'm going to talk a little while because I know you love hearing me talk.
Oh, absolutely.
Just about how we came to know each other. You talked about the supermarket business. I'm going to say the names. We met each other because you were at Tidyman's, which was just a supermarket powerhouse in Missoula for a long time. And it was back in the 90s. And I was with this radio station and a couple other radio stations. We were all together at the time. And the owners then owned Sign Pro, a sign-making company. And so it behooved them to get their signage out in high-traffic, high-visibility areas and tie promotions around it. So we tied in with Tidyman's when you were there. And what we would do is we would set up a display. You could register to win. It was usually some big prize, whether it was a refrigerator, freezer, whatever, but it was always a big prize, usually changed monthly. And we'd hang our big Sign Pro signs in there, register to win, and all of that. And then every single week, I think it was Tuesday, every single Tuesday, I come into Tidyman's. And I go from department to department, right? I talk to Teresa in the deli, and I talk to Tim in the meat department to find out what specials you got going on. And I would take little notes, and I talk to you every week. And
right, I was in the front end.
Yep. Dave, the produce guy, and everybody else. I'd get about 10 of these, and then I had to go upstairs in the little closet there. I think it was your break room.
It was.
In a closet is where the cassette player was. And I would have to record the weekly specials. Hi, Tidyman shoppers. Denny Bedard from KISS FM. in the produce department, and then a few specials. And while you're here, register to win. And so I would do that every single week for I don't know how many years. It ran for quite a while. And so that's kind of how I got to know you. And your time is up. Wasn't that easy? Your show is over. And what besides your entrepreneurial spirit, what was it that intrigued you about carpet cleaning and to run your own business, of course?
Right. That was probably the main part of it. So I was just looking. Actually, when I looked in that franchise magazine, I was just looking at all of these little service type business. I guess I was drawn to something like that, and I started thinking about the carpet cleaner that came to my store and to my house. I mean,
yeah.
And in fact, it turns out that I went to school with some of his kids, and
Wow.
We did a lot of chit chat, and he really got my wheels spinning. So I just kept coming back to the carpet cleaning, and then finally I found the one. And actually, the guy in Illinois sent me a little tiny bottle. It was an 8-ounce spray bottle of this citrus oxygenated product, and it was an amazing product. I used all of it up, and at that point we had moved down to Stevensville, but removing stains out of my carpet that my carpet cleaner couldn't get out with this amazing product.
Ah, okay.
And so I pushed towards that, and then I made it happen.
Missoula Real Estate today is presented by Diane Beck of Windermere Real Estate. Our guest, Tony Severson. Tony owns Kwik Dry Carpet Cleaning, serving Missoula and her Valley counties. Very competitive field. What do you feel you had to do to help make Kwik Dry stand out?
The guy in Illinois assured me, because that was the burning question, and he said, yeah, open your phone book. You're going to see, he gave me a number, and he was close. You're going to see 30 guys, and
yeah.
He says you're going to think, wow, that's a lot, or whatever there was. It was a lot. But you start to add up the households and the businesses, and those 30 people can't even begin to touch. If you figure
Good way to look at it.
How many are they doing a year? And there you go. So I was assured by him that it once you start running with it, as long as you don't screw it up, usually you get called back, and that's the way it went.
So you obviously it was a product as far as what you use and partnering with Kwik Dry. Obviously, all of that you felt pretty good about that 23 years ago going in. You knew you had a good product.
Right. Yes, it's an amazing product. Yep.
You also do upholstery, I believe.
Yes.
Does that require completely different equipment and cleaning solutions? What's all involved there?
The solution's virtually the same. It's tweaked a little bit, and of course, when we come enter a house, so to the upholstery, you do have to examine the upholstery and then custom mix it. A little more of this, a little more of that.
Okay.
The machine, of course, is small. And I had a breakthrough about a year ago. The machine is small, vibrating machine. I use towels with the machine to kind of vibrate the dirt out of it with this solution. But the machine became cordless a year ago, and it changed my life. It's a battery, and I'm not
little
tangled
more
in it.
convenient.
Oh, way more convenient.
Well, let's get back to the name of the business. It's called Kwik Dry for a very good reason, right? Tell us about that.
Okay, so now the industry, they actually have attached a name to this a few years ago, and they call it VLM, very low moisture. So there's maybe 3 distinct different types, and the other methods use quite a bit of water, and ours is sprayed on at a rate of moisture application that's considerably less than a truck mount system. So just due to that, the drying starts within minutes, and hence Kwik Dry. Yeah, it's a couple hours. You can feel it, and you're sensing that. Wow, it's 3/4 dry or whatever.
Yeah.
It depends on how dirty it was. If I have to spray it a little extra.
Yeah, and besides the fact that customers like that idea, what are some of the other benefits to having a system that is able to dry that quick and good to go?
Yes, good point. The machine pushes the solution down to the base of the fiber, so we're not injecting or wetting the pad at all. if I wet the pad, something was really dirty, and I was really going for a deep stain there. But that's your benefit. You're not wetting the pad, so hence the drying time, and you're not creating a mold problem later down the road.
Yeah.
Not that you can't do that. There's ways to dry that. But just if you like to clean often, I have a lot of customers that like to clean a couple times a year, some of them 3 times if they've got the animals. And that and the fact that ours is 100% non-soap.
Non-soap.
Yes.
Right.
It's there's 2 plant ingredients in it now. The main part is citrus. It's made from citrus peel. And so you don't have the potential sticky residue of a carpet detergent left in the carpet.
Nice. Missoula Real Estate Today, presented by Diane Beck of Windermere Real Estate. Our guest, Tony Severson, the owner of Kwik Dry Carpet Cleaning, serving Missoula and Ravalli counties. You alluded to this just a little bit just now. Over the years, you've probably adapted to customer service demands for greener / safer, I guess, kinds of cleaning solutions. How do you feel Kwik Dry meets those expectations?
Very well. That's really it's always been that way since Jim in Illinois built it that way, and he studied another. I won't say the name of that one, but it's the largest franchise in the world for the VLM type of carpet cleaning, and he went into their headquarters and studied it. And then kind of built his off of theirs and decided that they have a chemical name in their name. And he decided that, things are getting, even back then, a little greener, what he thought. And he wanted to go simple. And the natural things were getting stronger back then. They used to be pathetic. And anyhow, so he built that. But I did a few years ago, there was a tiny amount of a chemical that we'd use on mostly commercial and some Berber, and it's a brightener. And because my formula had become stronger, it's been reformulated, I started doing some testing, and I was able to eliminate that single little bit of chemical that's in the solution and go to just a pure, the oxygen, the water, and the 2 plant ingredients, the citrus and then the proprietary, I can't say what it is, plant ingredient.
When you say citrus peel, in my mind, my customer perception is, you clean my carpet and it dries, and I come in a short time later, and I'm not smelling a chemical. I'm smelling, it's kind of nice and orangey in here.
You'll smell a definite, yes, yep, yeah. It's a great smell, and even after 23 years, I'm still not tired of it.
Yeah,
it's a
cool.
Yeah. A nice smell.
Now, does that VLM, that very low moisture, does that mean faster? Are you able to do a job any faster than say a standard system, just because there's not as much drying time, or does that have anything to do with that at all?
I think the machine maybe does cruise over the carpet a little faster.
Okay.
And in fact, it was probably 40 years ago that this Jim in Illinois started that business. He was using a version of this, and then the first steam cleaners came in, and those were really big, heavy ones, and he used it for a couple of years and claims he kind of injured his back, and eventually went back to the orange stuff and the rotating machine like I use, and so it does cruise pretty fast, and it's operator friendly, except for carrying the 91-pound machine up your stairs.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, it's got some heft to it.
It really does. Yep.
Missoula Real Estate Today, presented by Diane Beck of Windermere Real Estate. Our guest, Tony Severson, owner of Kwik Dry Carpet Cleaning. We spell that Kwik, by the way, Kwik Dry Carpet Cleaning, serving Missoula and Ravalli counties. Now, Tony, what are some typical customer questions and needs that you have to address on a daily basis? Yeah, they want their carpets cleaned, but with an emphasis on what? Pet odors, really bad stains? I mean, what are some of the typical customer needs that you run into on every single day?
Right. Virtually every day. Pet, I call them biological disasters. The pet stains are the biggest sought-after thing. And we've just recently made some good, even better steps towards eliminate eliminating those. But that's the number one thing, and it's cats and dogs.
Sure.
But it's probably 80% dogs.
Right.
Because cats just tend to...
They're a little neater.
Yeah, and they tend to go in a designated box if everything's going right.
Yeah.
So it's dogs, and it's tricky business. I did have, in the 23 years, I had one ferret situation, and it was a loose ferret in this house. It was a rental they'd clean for often, and her renter had a loose ferret, and for crying out loud, it turned out that I studied it before I went over there, but the ferret is actually related to the feline animal kingdom, apparently, but when it comes to the biological substance that comes out of this animal, it changes, and there's odor to it.
Wow. Okay.
But the end of that story is the carpet got ripped out eventually.
Yeah. If you have a ferret, there's no sense getting a ferret box and ferret litter because the ferret isn't going to care, feline related or not.
Absolutely.
And of course, there's always the managing of time expectations. If you can't get here yesterday, how soon can you get here? How long will it take? Things like that. I know you're a pretty busy guy, but you have to manage customer expectations and give them an idea about when we can do this, huh?
Yeah. Oh, so as far as scheduling, how far?
Right. Yeah.
Once it gets rolling here, it tends to be scheduled out 7 to 10 days. But if you've got if you're moving out of a place and it's empty, and it doesn't really matter for the time, I can usually tag one of those in within a few days at the end of a day.
Okay.
I pretty much work Monday through Friday, and work as many hours during then as I can.
Yeah.
Do commercial work during those times also, at night, of course.
Right.
Yep.
How about, is there any advice or suggestions you can give to customers that can perhaps help, save a little time or maybe money before you come to a job? I mean, is there any pre-treatment or, why don't you move the furniture back? Things like that. Is there anything that you can kind of suggest before you get there?
Yeah, I do have a little questionnaire thing I do with the customers, and
Good.
A lot of them are interested in just the traffic areas. That's predominantly what we do. I tell them, because of this low moisture, if they want to, I can come in and tip the recliners and take a swipe under them. Some people are really big, and it's mostly men, about emptying a room, and they get all of their buddies and they will empty a room, and not all ladies will do that. But it's not necessary.
Yeah.
The piano, China Hutch bookcase, I don't move those, but I can move some things. So it just depends on your needs. I'll question you, and we can figure that out.
Yeah, you work it out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Missoula Real Estate today is presented by Diane Beck of Windermere Real Estate. Our guest, Tony Severson. Tony owns Kwik Dry Carpet Cleaning, serving Missoula and Ravalli counties. I also want to say thanks to some of Diane's marketing partners that help bring Missoula Real Estate today to you every week here on News Talk KGVO. It's Rob Fleming with Man Mortgage, Miles Link of Opportunity Bank of Montana, and Carol Blodgett from MakeItMissoula.com. Also, our spectacular listing of the week. We'll get back to Tony in a moment here, but we want to tell you about 1505 Marianne Drive in Missoula. Family home, room for all kinds of projects. Heck, if you got a horse, there's room for the horse, too. Very nice home. Located near Kelly Island Fishing Access. Very desirable Hellgate Elementary Middle School District. You open up the doors to a split-level home. You're welcome to a very open-concept living area, kitchen, dining, access to a large deck. You step out and you take in the views of the Lolo Peak from just about every angle. 5-bedroom, 2-bath home, everything you need. 3 bedrooms up, 2 bedrooms down. Very updated, finished basement. The downstairs, by the way, also includes 2 additional rooms. One is currently being used as an office, and of course there's a lot of that these days. And the other, a master closet detailed with built-in floor-to-ceiling organization. Just over 1 acre with a barn and corral. The opportunities are endless at 1505 Marianne Drive. If you'd like to know more, you can contact Diane Beck at the Windermere office on South Reserve, or get more information at our website. That's move2missoula.com. Move, the number 2, Missoula.com. Back to Tony Severson with Kwik Dry Carpet Cleaning. Tony, besides making your house less dirty, obviously, what are other good reasons to get your carpets cleaned on a fairly regular basis? You said you have customers that like 2 or 3 times a year. Probably not the average, but what are good reasons to keep things clean there?
Well, of course, the same old rule still stands. Maintenance of a carpet is to vacuum it often. And so you get that off of them, and the typical just traffic with the dogs, the animals, the kids, and yourself walking back and forth, keep that sand and dirt from wearing those fibers out. So if you do that often, you're money ahead there, and the product will remove the kind of micro stuff off those fibers, which also rub on them and cause wear. And the orange, the citrus stuff will kill dust mites. So for allergens, that's a temporary situation. Of course, dust mites rapidly come back. They feed on human skin cells, and they just will come back. But allergens are calmed down, and if you're concerned about that, is a light germicidal component to it. So just naturally.
And in terms of a frequency, it sounds to me like it's pretty much a personal taste thing, unless it's absolutely urgent, something spilled on the carpet or whatever. But a rule of thumb in terms of frequency, how often carpets could stand to be professionally cleaned?
You know what? The two averages are once a year and twice a year. That's it's probably evenly split. I probably have 12% of them, they do more often than that. But the rest of them are in the group of once or twice a year. A lot of people like that spring and pre-Christmas deal. Yeah.
Sure.
Yep.
Yeah. What is, I know that renters are a portion of your customer base, especially when it's time to move out, right?
Absolutely.
Why is that, Kwik Dry Carpet Cleaning guy, when they like suddenly realize, I guess I need a professional because my lease, lease says so.
Correct. It's in their leases. And what's in 23 years, what has kind of transformed and changed slightly, when I first started 23 years ago, it was always that way in Missoula. It seemed like it was in all of the leases. So, in other words, you couldn't, your landlord wouldn't let you run down and get the rug doctor. Any of the established property managements. In the Bitterroot, it was a little different. It was more of the wide open west, and they didn't do that a lot. It was kind of split. There was a lot of small landlords that would let you run down to the local market and do that. So it didn't start up there very fast, but they just potentially a better job is done for a guy that does it all the time. You don't over-wet it. Even if you're using a truck mount system, they do take precautions and sometimes leave drying fans if it was excessively dirty and they had to use extra water. So it's just the in the property management realm, they've just went to that. Just hire the guy, and so the rug doctors have just become a little maintenance thing for doing touch up. They also do cause you to go to the chiropractor. I will say that the rug doctor, it's hard work.
Yeah, a little rigorous.
Yep, absolutely.
Kind of bending and stretching and moving around a lot.
Yes.
How about a couple of questions I always like to ask, one being, what is one of the more unusual jobs that you can think of that you've ever been asked to do? Everybody thinks, well, all they do is ask him to clean carpets, or all they do is ask him to clean upholstery. I assume that maybe that's not always the case.
Sometimes people, it's not really on my list, but they'll just see the machine, and if they're still there, they'll say, hey, look at that dirty hard floor. And I could certainly, we can negotiate a price and do a hard floor for that. But, I've had unusual things. I think I mentioned to you a while back, the DNRC had a interesting material that I cleaned. It was a stand-up display things that were made of felt. And they had me clean those. I tipped them over for them, and I had to come up with a price. It wasn't on my list. Wasn't sure if I could clean them.
Well, yeah. And, felt display boards probably not a big part of your business. But.
No, but because they had been on forest fire scenes, and they had some smoke odor and some soiling. So it was something that it was right in the beginning, and I didn't have a lot of business, and I said, sure, I can do that, or I'm pretty sure I can, and I did.
How'd they come out?
They came out actually spectacular.
Yeah?
Yes. Yep.
Because felt, to me, that seems like it would be awfully fragile. You got to be
I actually tested it in the little machine that cleans furniture, and we do steps with it.
Yeah.
It just vibrates, and it's actually fairly gentle.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Well, any of you with felt display boards, good out there. Good to know that Tony at Kwik Dry can take care of that. And I always like to ask about success stories. Any jobs or projects that you've taken on that you have found especially rewarding over the years?
Especially rewarding. Well, I've had very large ones that have come and gone, and that usually happens with ownership changes. So all of those big businesses that I've done, and I still have some that I'm doing, Severson left the state, of huge international Belgian-owned company, was out on Expressway.
What was the name of it?
Severson International.
Severson.
Yeah, it's Rigging International and/or Severson.
Okay.
They build extremely large things that don't exist in the world to move things, and it's in a mechanical engineering feat.
Okay.
And anyhow, they came to Missoula years ago from New Orleans, and so those big places that have helped feed my children over the years were great. But just like this one, they left the state, but I did get to clean for the new guys that bought the building here a few weeks ago. So perhaps I'll be their go-to guy now.
I'm sure your residential business far outweighs your commercial business, but when you get a big commercial job like that, that's probably equal to what? How many residential jobs? Because it's probably, it's obviously most of the time a bigger undertaking, let's say, than doing a living room and a bedroom.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, it may take several evenings. It might take a week. There's been different types of businesses, for whatever reason, banks and things, where you have to be with certain people to get in there at certain times, and I might do them over a period of a few nights when the other cleaning people were in there also. Yeah.
Missoula Real Estate Today, presented by Diane Beck of Windermere Real Estate. Our guest has been Tony Severson, the owner of Kwik Dry, that's Kwik Dry Carpet Cleaning, serving Missoula and Ravalli counties. You get your free commercial now, Tone, as to why people should choose Kwik Dry and to have you do the job.
Well, if you've never tried a system that isn't the van, the extraction, if you haven't tried VLM, let's just put it to what it is, or perhaps a non-soap fast-drying product, give it a shot once, and actually just pick a living room and a bedroom, a hall. We don't have to do the whole house. I have a lot of people start with that, and then if you want to test drive it,
right?
We pre-vacuum it first, and I make the product available in a spot remover version. Once you've seen it done, you can get a bottle of that. Just try something new. It is kind of a unique ingredient to the industry, and give it a shot. Call us at 880-3791. We'll take care of it. You can also text me at that number.
All right. Missoula Real Estate Today, presented by Diane Beck of Windermere Real Estate. My guest has been Tony Severson, owner of Kwik Dry Carpet Cleaning. And give that number out one more time, would you?
That's it's Montana area code 406-880-3791.
All right. Thanks for coming on Missoula Real Estate Today. It's been fun.
Thank you very much, Danny.
Thank you for listening to Missoula Real Estate Today, presented by Diane Beck of Windermere Real Estate. Email dianebeck@windermere.com or For a complete directory of Diane's listings, visit move2missoula.com. That's move, the number 2, Missoula.com. We'll see you next time on Missoula Real Estate Today.